given every day. I have a voice, my voice is powerful, my voice can change the world. I have a voice, my voice is powerful, my voice can change the world. Change the world. I will give of myself.
I will give of myself.
I will reach out my hand.
I will reach out my hand.
I will use this heart I've been given to take a stand. I have a voice, my voice is powerful, my voice can change the world. I have a voice, my voice is powerful, my voice can change the world. Change the world. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech haolam she'asanu b'tselem Elohim. Baruch atah
Adonai Eloheinu Melech haolam she'asanu b'tselem Elohim. I have a voice, my voice is powerful, my voice can change the world. I have a voice, my voice is powerful, my voice can change the world. Change the world. I will fight for the truth. I will fight for the truth.
I'll stand up for what's right.
I'll stand up for what's right.
I will use this strength I've been given to be the light. I have a voice, my voice is powerful, my voice can change the world. I have a voice, my voice is powerful, my voice can change the world. I have a voice, my voice is powerful, my voice can change the world. I have a voice, my voice is powerful, my voice can change the world. Change the world.
Sometimes I lose my way, I stumble and fall. I fail to see the open door and only see the wall. Sometimes I close my ears when open they should be, but then I stop and listen to that still small voice inside of me. Pitruli, Share Tzedek, Avova, Odeya, Pitruli, Share Tzedek, Avova, Odeya, Pitruli. I see my life in the work of your hands and walk in love and freedom to the promised land. And when I lose my way, I pray that I may see that spark inside the darkness, and the gates open for me. Pitchu li Sha'arei Tzedek Avovam Odeah. 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 Pitchu li. Pitchu li.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom B'hamideinu Malkeinu L'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom B'hamideinu Malkeinu L'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom B'hamideinu Malkeinu L'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom B'hamideinu Malkeinu L'chaim.
If I can invite everyone to take your seats. Shh. If I can invite everyone to take your seats. And we begin. These are actually the pre-announcements. I get them in beforehand and the service is shorter. Gemar Chatima Tova, may you all be sealed for blessing in the book of life. I'm Rabbi Paul Kipnis of Congregation Or Ami. For a few more, no, I'll go there later. Before we officially start, I want to share some important information with all of you. You who are here in person and you who are on the live stream. First, be safe. If you are in person, please wear your mask over your mouth and your nose at all times. Just checking over you. I can't see everybody now, but thank you. And if your mask drops down and your neighbor reminds you to pull it up as they should, please do so graciously. We're all trying to remain healthy, and this is a Delta variant. The Delta variant is especially virulent. And so if we see masks going down, we will have to stop services because we need to keep everybody here safe. If you're on the live stream and with other people, please stay COVID safe, please. Now, if you're in person, the bathrooms are behind the sanctuary, so use any side door, and if you're up in the balconies, just use the doors on the side also. Those doors are also the emergency exits. Now, cell phones, please turn them off. I find that the cell phone that goes off during the service is the one that you are 100% sure is already off. So please take them out now and check them. Shh. If your phone goes off and you must take it, please don't tell them to hold on. Don't answer it. Walk out the door and then answer it. Last night someone answered during the service. Please don't. If you are away from home, though, if you are a college student streaming from away from home, or really any of you worshiping on the live stream, take a selfie of you in front of the screen. Text it to me, email, message me on Instagram or Facebook. We miss seeing your punim, your faces, your panim. And those pictures help us feel that you are standing lifnei Adonai before God, before us, with us. And of course, if there's a problem with the live stream, go to orami.org first and try out one of the other of the two locations for the live stream. If you are in person and there's an emergency, go through any of the doors and talk to an usher who will help you. We also have a doctor on site today. We will be opening our mock stores, our high holiday prayer books, and for those at home, the prayer supplements. So if you don't have them with you, you can download them if you want at orame.org/HHD. Of course, during the service, when we invite people to rise, we mean in body or in spirit. If it's comfortable and doable, please rise physically. But the Holy One knows what's in your heart. So to stand lifnei Adonai before God is a reality that transcends time and space. So you may pray from whatever position you are in, just direct your heart to the Holy One. So remember, when we say please rise, know that we mean in body or in spirit. And we want to thank all of you who are here with us in person. And we want to thank all of you who are worshiping with us online. And a special thanks to our production team who reimagined what multi-access hybrid services could be like. And thank you to the camera and production team that has lifted up into our amazing musicians. So remember, on the live stream, the pages will be somewhere down here on the bottom of the screen. For those in person, they'll be in a corner, left-hand corner in a circle on the visual tefillah screen. So everybody chant along, sing along, and pray aloud. Gemar Chatima Tova. May you be sealed in the book of life.
טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לה יאללה לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לה יאללה לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Repeat after me. Gamar Chatima Tova.
Gamar Chatima Tova.
It means may you be sealed for blessing in the book of life. Now say Gamar Tov.
Gamar Tov.
It's a shortened form. It means may you be sealed for goodness. Now say easy fast. May you have an easy fast. Well, the truth is you shouldn't have an easy fast. It shouldn't be that painful. But you should struggle a little bit because we should be struggling with our lives and how we're behaving and how we're living and how we're letting our world live. But that's another story. I'm Rabbi Paul Kipnis. And this, for his last high holiday service with us, is Cantor Doug Kotler. And Rabbi Julia Weiss will be joining us soon. She's out opening our high holiday day camp for kids. I welcome you to Congregation Or Ami's Yom Kippur morning services. This is the holiest day of the year, and we try to look through the year gone by, past the painful pandemic, past the repugnant politics that have plundered our peace of mind, between the acerbic anti-Semitism and the horrific hatred that have destabilized our sense of security, through our worries about our parents, our children, our loved ones, ourselves. And we cry out, full-throated to the Holy One, beseeching the source of all, Shema Kolenu. Hear our voices. Help us find our faith. And then, in almost a whisper, we ask, Ana Adonai, answer us, O God. Please, answer us. You who answered our matriarch Sarah in her old age as she faced the pain of infertility, and Rebecca as she cried out through her pregnancy challenges and turmoil, asking, why do I exist? And Jacob in the wilderness as he struggled to reframe his self-focused folly. You who answered Leah in her sadness and Rachel in her turmoil and Joseph in the prison house. You who answered the midwives Shiphrah and Puah at the birthing stones and Batya, Pharaoh's daughter, a non-Jew who courageously saved Moses and therefore our people on the banks of the Nile River. You who answered Moses at Mount Sinai and who answered Elijah in a Kol Damamah Dakah, that still small voice in the wilderness. You who can answer all of us, the righteous who gather all over the world before you. We need you now more than ever, O God. Ana Adonai, please answer us. Wake us up. Help us be awake. Help us find our faith.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Sing with me. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can Moed Le'olam. La-da-dai-dai-dai, ya-da-dai-dai-dai, 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 ya-da-dai-dai-dai.
Please be seated. We're in our Machzor, our High Holiday Prayer Books, page 112. And we read together, page 112. We are grateful each morning for the rest that has come after yesterday's tasks were done. We are grateful each morning for the promise of a new day, a day of new experiences, of warmth and friendship, of new tasks undertaken, new fruit planted, of efforts brought to fruition, and of bountiful harvests reaped. We are grateful for the creative and nurturing capacities we have been granted together, for the compassion to sense those in fear, in hunger, and in pain, for the opportunity to share some of our bounty with those less fortunate. We are grateful each moment for the light of a new day. Listen.
If you're lost, you feel afraid, and you don't know what to say, then listen to our God. Is there a question on your mind? Is the answer hard to find? Then listen to our God. Listen with all your heart and soul, and with all your might. Write them and learn them and teach them well, every morning and night. Close your eyes, listen. Quiet yourself, there's nothing to say. Stop all the chatter, it gets in the way. Listen to our God. When the wind and the thunder finally disappear, there's still a voice that you can hear if you listen. Listen to our God. You can hear it from the top, the highest, highest hill, from the valley below. It can come from the edge of the universe. It can come from within your soul. Close your eyes. Adonai Eloheinu our God. Listen, listen to our God.
We remain standing on page 117 for the Avot V'Imahot, the Amidah.
Shema kolenu v'nashuva v'nashuva Shema kolenu v'nashuva Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים, וחודבנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים, למענך, למענך, למענך אלוהים, למענך, למענך אלוהים חיים, למענך, למענך, למענך זוכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה, שמע קולנו ונשובה ונשובה, שמע קולנו ונשובה.
Please remain standing, and thank you for wearing your mask fully over your nose and your mouth. We read responsively. On Rosh Hashanah it is written, on Yom Kippur it is sealed, page 120. We'll start again.
On Rosh Hashanah it is written, on Yom Kippur it is sealed. Who shall be pierced by envy, and who shall be torn by resentment? Who shall be tormented by the fire of ambition, and whose hope shall be quenched by the waters of failure? Who shall hunger for approval, and who shall be stuffed with selfishness? Who shall be content with their lot, and who shall wander in search of satisfaction? Who shall be poor in their own eyes, and who shall be rich in mitzvot? Who shall be serene, and who shall be distraught? Who shall stand out as a Jew, and who shall fade away, forgetting who they are? Who shall study Torah for its own sake, and who shall worry about grades and exams? Who shall be open-minded, and who shall be tight-fisted? Whose life shall be intertwined with others, and who shall be independent and alone? Who shall be truly alive, and who shall merely exist? But Yom Kippur has not ended. The doors are not yet closed. We can yet change our future, for we are a people that does not resign itself to fate. We can annul the decrees. We can reopen the future. We can reclaim our lives. We can change the future by changing ourselves. We read together in Hebrew and English, page 128. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, for the sin we have sinned before you. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha begalui uvasater, for the sin we have sinned openly or secretly. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha beda'at uvmirma, for the sin we have sinned knowingly and deceitfully. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha bechachash uvchatzav, and for the sin we have sinned by denying and lying. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha belatzon, for the sin we have sinned by expanding our rights and diminishing our duties. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha bilshon hara, for the sin we have sinned by slander. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'masa uvmatan, and for the sin we have sinned in business. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha bintiat garon, for the sin we have sinned by an arrogant attitude. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha bitziltzul horim umorim, for the sin we have sinned by disrespect for parents and teachers. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha bitzdeyat re'ah, and for the sin we have sinned by failing to welcome converts into the household of Israel. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha bitzruut ayin, for the sin we have sinned by envy. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha bitzadon uvishgaga, for the sin we have sinned under compulsion or by free will. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha bichilul Hashem, and for the sin we have sinned by disgracing the Jewish people, our beliefs and heritage. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha bir chilut, For the sin we have sinned by gossip and tale-bearing. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'sinat chinam. For the sin we have sinned by groundless hatred. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'ma'achul uvmishteh. For the sin we have sinned by overeating and drinking. Ba'al kulam Elohas lichot, slach lanu, machal lanu, kaper lanu. For all these sins, O God of compassion, forgive us, pardon us, restore us. In these ways we diminish ourselves and harm others. Through fraud and falsehood, through dishonesty, however good the excuse, through the breach of trust, through saying much and doing little, through envy and through the hatred it breeds. In these ways, we diminish ourselves and harm others. By pretending emotions we do not feel, by using the sin of others to excuse our own, by denying our responsibility for our own misfortunes, by refusing to admit our share in the troubles of others. In these ways, we diminish ourselves and harm others. By condemning in our children the faults we tolerate in ourselves, by condemning in our parents the faults we tolerate in ourselves, by remembering the price of things and forgetting their value, by sacrificing the truth to forget our egos, by desiring to be served rather than serving others, by feeling Jewish and doing so little about it. In these ways, we diminish ourselves and harm others. By lying to gain advantage, by using people as stepping stones to our own needs, by manipulating those we claim to love. In these ways, we diminish ourselves and harm others. By treating with arrogance those who are vulnerable, by seeking out those we can feel superior to, by diluting our Jewish heritage so that it cannot be passed on, by erecting borders and finding them satisfying, by remaining silent in the face of evil. The al kulam Elohas lichot, slach lanu, machal lanu, kaper lanu. For all these sins, O God of compassion, forgive us, pardon us, restore us. We read responsively. Page 135. Avinu Malkeinu, we pray for life. Bless us once more with a year of life so that we may be privileged to complete the year we have just begun. Despite the burdens and the heartbreaks, the pains and perils we want to live, we ask to be sealed in the book of life.
But even as we pray that years may be added to our lives, we ask that true life be added to our years.
May the new year be for us a time for enhancing the quality of our lives, enriching their content, deepening their meaning.
Help us to keep our minds alive.
May we be open to new ideas, interchange challenging, long-held opinions.
Nurture a lively curiosity and strive to add to our knowledge.
Help us to keep our hearts alive. May we develop greater compassion, be receptive to new friendships, and grow more sensitive to those who surround us.
Help us to keep our souls alive. May we be more responsive to the needs of others, less vulnerable to consuming greed, more attentive to the craving for friendship, more devoted to truth.
Help us to keep our spirits alive. May we face the future with confidence, knowing that every age has its unique joys and satisfactions, each period in our lives a glory of its own. And have given us the power to live beyond our years. Whether our years be few or many, help us to link our lives to the life of our people and to our eternal faith. Avinu Malkeinu Shema Kolenu. Avinu
Malkeinu, hear our plea. Avinu Malkeinu Chatanu Lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, we have sinned before you.
Avinu Malkeinu Chamol Aleinu Ve'al Ulalenu V'Tapenu. Avinu Malkeinu, have mercy upon us and our children.
Avinu Malkeinu kale dever v'cherev v'ra'av me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, help us to diminish pestilence, war, and famine.
Avinu Malkeinu, kale kol tsar umastain me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, inspire us to cause all hate and oppression to vanish from the earth.
Avinu Malkeinu katvenu b'sefer chaim tovim. Avinu Malkeinu, enter us in the book of life.
Avinu Malkeinu, chadesh aleinu shana tova. Avinu Malkeinu, renew our faith in the future that we may make the coming year truly a shana tova, a year of goodness.
Avinu Malkeinu chanenu va'anenu ki ein banu ma'asim. Asei manu tzedakah v'chesed ve'oshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, though we may be unworthy, do not give up on us. Inspire and encourage us, for you are both just and loving.
Shema kolenu, Avinu Malkeinu, chatanu lefanecha, Avinu Malkeinu, chamol aleinu, ve'yalol aleinu, v'tapeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, ale dever, v'cherev v'ra'av Avinu Malkeinu, kotvenu b'sefer chaim tovim. Avinu Malkeinu, chadesh aleinu, chadesh aleinu, shana tova. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, chadesh aleinu, shana tova. Avinu Malkeinu, shema kolenu, shema kolenu, shema kolenu.
Please be seated. Last night, I began a 3-part conversation with God. You may view it if you missed it in the Kol Nidre service, which is on the archive on oramilive.com. In part 1, which I call God and the Hula Hoops, I used hula hoops to illuminate different ideas about God. Thanks to Michael Kaplan and Graham Becker for these pictures. I thought it was a pretty unique, creative teaching. You know, it took me 57 years to master this message. Then this kid masters the message in 3 minutes. 2.5 years old. Pretty awesome, huh? By the way, I bat mitzvahed his mother, married his aunt, converted his uncle, sat with the family at the deaths of his great-great-grandparents. And 2.5 years ago, I got to name him, and recently his brother. Those are the deep relationships that make being a rabbi, a cantor, so powerful. And that's what long-term partnership in a synagogue really gets you. So in the second conversation we had last night, I had it out with God, using some choice language to demand that God ask forgiveness for the mess God had made of our world. But instead of an apology, I got something else. If you haven't seen it, check it out. So now I'm going to go one step higher. Last night I talked to God. This morning, I'm talking to Mark. Does faith make it easier for you to deal with all this loss? Does faith make it easier for you, Rabbi, to deal with all this loss? So asked Mark, with whom I have been very close for a few decades. In addition to all the B'nai Mitzvah and the baby namings and the weddings, we have been together through life changes and economic downturns, through illness and loss in hospital rooms and in funeral homes. I was with his family when his mother passed away. After his mother passed away, he came to my home after my dad died. With all you have seen, Mark seemed to be asking, with all the death and tragedies, the cancer and the Alzheimer's, the young people taken before their time, the old people suffering well after their time, do you have a faith that gets you through? I confess that Mark's question caught me off guard. Beyond all of this time's benevolent blessings and sweet silver linings, these have been 2 or so of the toughest years, facing one painful tragedy after another. That mass shooting nearby the synagogue, the raging wildfires that placed more than 85% of our congregation under mandatory evacuation, the deaths first of my mother-in-law, Terry, followed by, soon thereafter, by the death of my dad, Ken, and recently my mother, Mom, burying the first known Jewish COVID patient in LA, who was also a friend. And then during the height of Los Angeles' COVID surge, supporting the families of 16 people who died in a single month. Too much tragedy. Too much illness, too much anxiety and pressure and depression, too much, just too much. And I know I'm not alone. We've talked, I know so many of you have been struggling to maintain equilibrium, trying to find joy amidst the jumbled journey of life, to dodge that depression that threatens to overwhelm, to maintain a sense of meaning amidst it all. I always wonder, how do you get through? When Mark asked me, does my faith get me through? I paused. I have spent so much time ministering to others or attending to my own words that I often forgot to factor in my own faith. How did I get through? There were mornings that, like many of you, I woke so tired that I didn't know how I'd get out of bed. There were afternoons that my attitude was such that tears flowed freely at the sadness of it all. There were evenings when the weight of the burdens we are facing made me wonder where I would find the wisdom to bring us back to blessing and into relief. Yet somehow, the next day, I found my feet still under me and supporting me as I rose up to reach out and navigate another day. Where does that strength come from? How could I continually put one foot in front of the other one day at a time when I felt less charged than a teen's cell phone after a day of connecting with others? It's my faith. That's where I find holiness in the Holy One, guiding me, sending my spouse and friends to me at just the right moment to hold me, to strengthen me. That is why when, under the guise of my spiritual director and therapist, God grants me insight and wisdom, energy and equilibrium to be self-aware and self-compassionate. That's when my partner clergy come forth like flight attendants on the jetway that's my life to remind me to, what? Put on my oxygen mask first. And because the Holy One is in everything and in everyone, identifying those supports, setting them up, and allowing them to help me are acts of faith in and of themselves. During a particularly difficult period in my journey, Rabbi Julia Weiss reminded me that what I was going through was akin to trying to stay standing on a board in the middle of the ocean. Waves of sadness or despair or mourning kept coming. I couldn't stop them or even anticipate them. I couldn't turn around to look at them because when I did, I lost my equilibrium and fell. So my task, she taught me, was to just continue facing forward and ride the waves. Sometimes those waves were small and I could handle them with ease. Sometimes they washed over me with a vengeance that threw me into the ocean. Then my faith helped me get back up on that board, knowing that the cold water need not stop me because feeling drenched was an indication that I was alive. Climbing back on that board again and again, that's my faith. It's my faith that let me face forward while both embracing and letting go of what's behind me and still coming toward me. Somehow, I sense that I would make it through. That's my faith. Rock solid faith that I am not alone, that during my life's work, whether it's the sacred work of the rabbinate or the sacred stuff of being a spouse, a partner, a father, or a friend, or in the sense that self-care is sacred too. I believe I would float above the floodwaters and through the eye of the storm. Because like our patriarch Jacob experienced in the middle of the wilderness, beside that sulam, that ladder that went up to the heavens, Achen yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh, holiness is alive in this place. Yes, goodness and godliness are here with us too. And so I dance with Miriam and the women, taking up my timbrel as we waltz along those walls of water that simultaneously seem so threatening and so reassuring. I sing, Micha mocha ba'ilim Adonai, who is like you, O source of strength. I found faith in Hamakom, that there is no place without the presence, the holy presence, no place where I was alone. So I jumped forward with Joshua and Caleb when they were coming out of their mission to scout out the promised land, convinced that some challenges were gigantic and that I would feel significantly ant-like before them. Yet a pathway through the wilderness would open up and I would always be able to wander forward toward Eretz Zavat Chalav Udvash, the promise of a fruitful existence that will sustain me, an existence as nourishing as mother's milk, a sweetness as sweet as honey on my tongue. Amidst mind-blowing misery or the daily rebalancing to exact equilibrium from this existence, I have held fast to that faith. It calls me to count my blessings still, to let go of the small stuff, in other words, to jettison the jetsam so I can float forward. It reminds me, as I try to remind you, to give thanks regularly, Shehachianu, for each new moment, whether of pleasure or of pain, or a uniquely novel intermix of the two. For we are alive, for we are loved, for we are surrounded by the soul of souls, the source of all existence, Elohai, my God, our God. So yes, Mark, I have a faith that does get me through. And I hope you do too. And I would love to hear from you, or any of you, about your faith, about how you seek ways to strengthen it during challenging times. Or if you are struggling with faith or have struggled with faith, know that I am always here too for you, for fascinating faith conversations, to figure out how to find it or how to get through. Let's all strive to find a faith to sustain us, that we can pass down with our most cherished of Jewish values. Let's pass them down the door by door, from generation to generation. Amen.
We are gifts, and we are blessings. We are history in song.
We are hope, and we are healing. We are learning to be strong.
We are words, and we are stories. We are pictures of the past.
We are carriers of wisdom, not the first and not the last. Ledor vador, nagid God lecha. Ledor vador, we protect this chain from generation to generation. Ledor vador, these lips will praise your name.
Looking back on the journey that we carry in our heart.
From the shadow of the mountain to the waters that would part.
We are blessed and we are holy. We are children of your way.
And the words that bring us meaning, we will have the strength to say. Ledor vador, nagid God lecha. Ledor vador, we protect this chain from generation to generation. Ledor vador, these lips will praise your name.
Incidentally, the young woman, the young girl on the screen is niece of our violinist. She is how old?
I think she's 7, right?
She was 7 last year. Anyways, beautiful. I'll share just one more thing. Don't read your emails, your texts during the service, but had to make sure something was going on right there. One of our college students said, "What do you do when your Wi-Fi goes out in the middle of high holiday services?" Run down to Starbucks, log back in so you can hear the rabbi sing, read, and the cantor sing. I'd like to introduce one of our congregants.
They told me never follow dogs or children. Not a good thing. My name is Adrian Stern. I am a 60-year-old white male who contracted COVID, and I should be dead. Beginning in late November, I was hospitalized for almost 2 months, and I was on a ventilator for nearly 3 weeks. Boy, that picture scares the hell out of me. I found out later I was given only a 15% chance of recovery. Not great odds. It's what some folks call, I use the word euphemistically, circling the drain. Lucky for me, I survived. I believe that there were 5 basic reasons that I survived this trip to hell and back. I was in good physical condition, not great, but I boxed, I exercised on a regular basis. I have a strong will to live. I have an amazing wife, children, grandchildren, business partners, and friends. I received excellent care. I had fantastic doctors, nurses, and nurse practitioners. And not only were they my caregivers, but they're really my sole source of support because of COVID. The people I love the most couldn't be with me. It was tough. 4th reason was I think God just wasn't done with me yet. I had unbelievable outpourings of prayer and love sent my way. People I barely knew were there for me and their prayers and wishes. And last, I was just plain lucky. My doctor said I should go out and buy a lottery ticket. He's the one who calmly told me, by the way, that I should be dead. Ultimately, I never really knew what ended up saving me. And honestly, I came to the conclusion I just don't think I'm supposed to know. But it turns out when you're hospitalized for long periods of times, interesting side effects occur that nobody tells you. I lost 50 pounds during this ordeal. It's hard to believe looking at me now. They fed me through a tube in my arm. When I finally got better, I was sent to a rehab hospital. I lasted 3 days. And when I was discharged, my doctors warned me that I have PTSD. I didn't even know what PTSD was. And quite honestly, I wasn't quite sure who to talk to about all this. I struggled. And finally, I reached out to Rabbi Paul because I figured that's what you do when you run into these changeling issues. But I really felt bad about it because he's going through all this pain and torture, and how is he going to have time to deal with me? We texted back and forth quite a few times, and he finally convinced me to write down my experiences of what had happened, because there's not a lot of people who survived like I did. So I tried, and every time I tried to write, I broke down in tears. It was so difficult because I had this impossible time dealing with my own mortality. I never expected the end to be so close, and darn it, I wasn't ready to leave yet. Finally, I finished. I shared my reflections with some of you on a Friday night Shabbat service. And I'm not going to lie, I barely made it through. But when I finished, it was like a ton of bricks had been lifted off of me. Sharing my story, first with the rabbi, and then with the congregation, just gave me this release. It's the first time that night I slept soundly in weeks. Slowly, the night terrors started to subside. So why do I tell you this story this morning? Why am I sharing with this congregation this story? I do it because many of me are like you. You don't know what to do when the going gets rough. And I've got to tell you, the reason why I'm here today is to tell you we need institutions like our synagogue. We need institutions like our synagogue. We need our rabbi, and we need our cantor. In times of great adversity, when you truly think the crisis is past, is when the need really, truly begins. You know, it's not like you can go on DoorDash and order up a spiritual home. Excuse me, can I have a congregation, please? It doesn't work like that. Places like Orme and people like these amazing clergy, you need them on an ongoing basis. And you don't need them just for yourself. You need them for your families. You need them for your kids. You need them for your elderly parents. You need them. Trust me when I say you don't know what's going to happen to you, because you don't. Thank God they were there to help me through this whole thing. They'll be there for you too when you need them. So support Congregation Orme. Support its programs for teens and adults. Support the work it does to help people. Support the fact that they are there for you 24/7 when you need them. It's amazing to me, frankly, how they did it through this entire pandemic. So you know what's coming next, right? We all sat here, right? I want you to make a donation to the synagogue. I want you to consider it a spiritual insurance policy against future unknown perils. What can I say? I'm a CPA. All right, so if you're in person, you see the envelope. Got the envelope? Take the envelope, it's near your seat, make a pledge. The ushers are coming around, they'll collect them from you. If you're at home, if you're watching this on streaming, I want you to go to orme.org/donate and make a pledge. I know it feels weird sitting at home, but I need you to do this for me. That's orme.org/donate. Some of you can give $180, some $250, some $500. I'm sounding like an auction, right? Some $1,000, some $5,000, maybe even $10,000. But I just want you to pause a minute and put yourself back in my shoes. What would I have done without this place? What would you do if you didn't have this place? Let's not find out, shall we? How about you do your fair share and you do a little bit extra to cover the families who are struggling and cannot do it? Now, I don't know most of you, and I don't know most of you out there in streaming land, but I'm asking you as a personal favor to me to go ahead and do this. Thank you so much. Have a blessed and safe new year, and please choose life.
Consider this day, consider it holy. If we consider that it's holy, then it is. Take this moment to consider all the moments that we didn't so consider prior to this. It's how it is, how it's always been. I guess it's how we're blessed. How we're blessed. Consider the light that guides you, and without which you would flounder in the dark. Whatever they tell you, it burns inside you, and it's blazing like a furnace, like our nearest dying star. It's how it is, how it's always been, the light and the darkness, it's how we're blessed. How we're blessed. How we're blessed. It's sometimes hard to fathom when we're falling into a chasm, when we're staring at the jaws of death. How we're blessed. We're never gonna understand it in our short time on the planet. We're honored guests. Consider this sound, this set of vibrations that moves the air, that stirs the head and heart. The epic themes and the many variations, the revelations that tear us up and tear us all apart. It's how it is, how it's always been and will always be, I guess. It's how we're blessed. How we're blessed with the livings we are scratching, when the world's around collapsing, when yours is as good as my guess. How we're blessed when our hearts are truly open, when our fears are finally spoken, we can rest. Consider this breath that fills you, and without which you'd be useless, more or less. What doesn't make you stronger kills you. Your breath's the first blessing you're given, and the last thing you have left. It's how it is, it's how it's always been and will always be, I guess. It's how we're blessed. How we're blessed. It's how it is, it's how it's always been, the light and the darkness. It's how we're blessed. How we're blessed.
Thank you to all of you who pre-pledged your donation, and those of you here and here who are supporting the congregation. I noticed we put up orami.org/HHD. There should be a link on the High Holiday page to the donation button, but if not, it's orami.org/donate. They both work, or email me and I'll help you. We rise in body or in spirit as we remove the Torah from the ark.
Ki mitzion tetze Torah, ki mitzion tetze Torah, udevar Adonai mirushalayim, Baruch שנתן תורה תורה ברוך שנתן תורה תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד אחד אלוהינו גדול אדוננו קדוש שמו.
You know, services aren't over yet, but we're already planning for next year. And next year, we're going to take all the Torah scrolls here and we're going to march them around the synagogue, and we are going to Torah surf our Torah straight through the congregation like we've done in the past. But like on Rosh Hashanah this year, we could not do a hakafah, we could not circle because of the need to socially distance. So we needed to embrace a new ritual of holding up our pinky fingers between ourselves and the Torah, or a pinky-wrapped tzitzit. And you can do this on the live stream too. We recall that the origin of the tradition is unclear. Some consider it a custom but not a law. We remember that it was suggested that the pinky is the cleanest of the fingers. Others say it parallels holding up a yad, a pointer to read from the Torah. Or perhaps it symbolizes that with the smallest, weakest finger, we can uphold Torah and its values of tzedek, justice, and emet, truth, and chesed, kindness, into the world. So everybody here and wherever you are, lift up your pinky, kiss it, touch the Torah. Now wipe it on your eyelids and across your lips. May the wisdom of Torah reframe the way you see the world. May the words of Torah be on your lips as you speak, and may they guide your fingers and your hands as you act in the world, moving you toward tzedek, justice, and emet, truth, so that this world will be a place filled with chesed, kindness. And you, each of you, all of us, will become forces for shalom, for peace.
You may be seated. Today's Torah tells us, Atem nitzavim hayom. You all stand here today, kulchem, all of you, lifnei Adonai Elohechem, before the eternal your God. The Parsha focuses on that moment when Moses gathers the people to review the covenant with God and the mutual agreements we make as God's people. After years of focusing on what it means to stand up and why it's so important that kulchem, every person from all walks of life, receives Torah, I'm now fascinated with two other words, lifnei Adonai. These words appear 172 times in the Torah, and that's a lot. So what is Torah trying to teach us by repeating excessively that we are lifnei Adonai? In addition to opening our sacred texts and reviewing all the occurrences, we reached out to our community on Facebook to discover how our friends interpret these words. Rabbi Lauren Blassingame Ben Shoshan reminds us that lifnei has two qualities: before as in time, and before as in physical location. And as Rabbi Jonathan Blake teaches, those 172 mentions in Torah reminds us to know that everything is God and that we are at all times and in all places standing before and within God. But what does that mean? Rav Neil Amschwitz explains, Lifnei, from the word panim, meaning face, invites us to stand with others panim al panim, seeing and being seen. Or, as Orami congregant and rabbinic student Adrienne Pasternak teaches, to stand lifnei Adonai means that when we look in the mirror or in the eyes of another person, we should see in that reflection our best selves, which then ought to help us try to be our best selves. For Rabbi Rachel Mayer, it's about honesty. To stand honestly before ourselves and ask whether we've honored the divinity that's in each of us, in our relationship with others, and equally as importantly, in the ways we treat ourselves. For editor Deborah Corman, it's an invitation to discover our ultimate purpose on earth, to ask ourselves always, what does God want from me? Which requires what Rabbi Nicole Auerbach suggests implies openness to stand willingly, to be seen for all of our gifts and our faults. Which leads us to humility, as rabbinic student Michal Camille suggests. These words are directing us to be at our core as humble humans who know our limitations and accept boundaries to make life good for others and for ourselves in sharing this space. Finally, Rabbi Evan Schultz taught us that perhaps at its root, being lifnei Adonai in all times and spaces is about awe and wonder. It's an invitation to us, with openness and humility, to slow down from all that we do, to open our eyes, and to be totally in awe of everything and everyone around us, always. This world is a gift. This community is a gift. Our lives are gifts. But especially the wisdom of Torah is a gift. Let's unwrap Torah and hear its wisdom. We now invite forward our Torah reader, Noah Mayer, son of Aaron and Mark Mayer, who became a bar mitzvah this year, and Diane Townsend, our wonderful B'nai Mitzvah tutor. For the honor of blessing Torah this morning, we invite those to rise, anyone who has stood in awe and wonder at the beauty of this world. We invite to rise anyone who's been humbled by the limitations you felt in life. I still sense in the streaming world we have people sitting. So stand if you have found in this pandemic renewed openness and a desire to engage with others, whether online or in person or socially distanced in the outdoors with a mask. We invite anyone to rise who has come to appreciate the ability to breathe freely, to breathe fully. Okay, anyone else who is still breathing, please rise. Let's join with Cantor Doug as we bless the Torah.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamorach, Baruch Adonai hamorach le'olam va'ed, Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, V'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Nitavim hayom kolchem lifnei Adonai Elohechem Roshechem Shiftechem Ziknechem V'Shotrechem Kol Ish Yisrael Topchem Neshechem V'Gercha Asher B'kerev machanecha, mechotei veitzecha, ad sho'ev meimecha, le'ovrecha, be free. Adonai Elohecha uvalato asher Adonai Elohecha koreit imcha hayom lema'an hakim otcha hayom lo le'am v'hu yihayelecha le'elohim ka'asher diber la v'ka'asher nishba la'avotecha le'avraham le'yitzchak u'yaakov v'lo idchem levadechem anochi koreit et abrit azot ve'et ha'ala hazot.
And we stand, we rise, and we finish with the blessing after Torah. Cantor Doug.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Whenever we gather, especially when reading Torah, we pause to share blessings of healing for those we love and also for all who are ill. Like our biblical ancestor Moses, who prayed when his sister Miriam was sick, we pray for our loved ones. In the words of psalmist Alden Solvoy, God of love, cast the light of health and well-being on the injured, the infirm, and the insecure, all who yearn for your healing hand. Bless them with healing of body, healing of soul, and healing of spirit. Grant all in need a full and complete recovery. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, source of life. When we say the Mishaberach, we energize the connection with holiness and the Holy One. We are hoping that the power within our loved ones brings them and us fortitude and courage to face the illness, uncertainty, and suffering. Amidst all the sadness and brokenness of this year, our prayers can help us through. So we invite you to mention aloud those for whom you are asking for blessings of healing. Say aloud their name and their relationship to you. We turn to page 142 and pray Mishaberach together.
Mishaberach avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us sing Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
we will raise up the Torah, giving honor to our sacred source book, symbolically showing its contents, that its contents are not just for the rabbis and cantors and teachers, but for us all. If you want, you may hold up your pinky before the Torah, if you'd like to continue that ritual. We rise in body or in spirit.
Zot HaTorah asher som Moshe levnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai be'ad Moshe. Etz chayim hi lemachazikim bo v'tom he'ah be'ushar derachea darchei noam v'chol netivotea shalom. Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashova Kadesh Kadesh Yameinu Kadesh Yameinu Kekedem.
Please be seated. Thank you, Noah, and thank you, Diane, for teaching him and all of our students with such creativity and warmth. My friends, if you have found Congregation Or Ami, these high holiday services, to be meaningful, please do yourself and your Jewish world a mitzvah. Consider becoming a partner, a member of Congregation Or Ami. Congregation Or Ami is a sanctuary of kindness, a safe Jewish community for today. It can be your second home. We are here, as Adrian said, when you don't think you need us. And then we try to be there. We are there for you when you realize that you actually do need us. And if you live at a distance, more than 60 miles from the synagogue, would you consider becoming a distanced member of Or Ami? For a special discounted rate, Or Ami, we will be your second home. You will be invited to special online gatherings with the clergy. You'll receive 3 holiday essential bags for Hanukkah, Purim, and Passover. And you will know that we are truly here for you when you need us, and even when you're not sure. Our first distance partners gathering will be in November. So please contact our office staff or send me an email, and I'll forward it on to them so they can help you. Now, online, you will soon be finding out about Mitzvah Day in November, when we will make 500 comfort bags for kids going into the foster care system. We're still working out the details, so bear with us, but when it comes, please help and respond. We need to collect 10,000 items, and then we need to put them all together on that Sunday in November. Now, we talked a lot about living and faith, and we'll do Yizkor soon, our memorial service. You want to think about our upcoming class, your spiritual legacy, finding a way to a good death, something you don't want to wait to deal with, especially don't wait until you are almost dead. Let's talk about it now. And I remind you to bring donations of cans of food for the Sova Food Pantry. Usually it's easier. Everybody comes back for Yom Kippur, and so everybody brings things here. And Sova is suffering, and our hungry around this Southland are suffering. So we need everybody, no matter what you're doing on September 18th or 19th, Saturday or Sunday, on the dates that are on the website or wherever, to bring your canned goods to Orami. We must feed those in need. That's why we have everything we have. And today, join us this afternoon for our study sessions from 2 to 3 p.m. They're going to be on Zoom. 2 classes you can choose from. One, taught by our rabbinic intern Mira Weller, will be Kol Nidre, the vow we keep on breaking. Music and text and commentaries all rolled into one. And for a very creative one, come with Rabbi Shauna and Isaac Brinjagard Bialik. They'll be teaching redemption and teshuvah in comic books, in holy books. It will be fun, and it will be deep, and you'll love it. All those links are up on the website. And remember, at Orami, we fell and not fetch. Though one of my friends who can get away with it texts me and says, when you put that logo up on the screen that says kfel, don't fetch, and then you put a circle around the don't, it's like kfel, don't fetch, which means kfetch. And I said, only one person send me a kfetch, you. So we praised Duncan. I got to tell you, I've been a rabbi for 28 years, and he's been a cantor since the Torah was written, and she keeps us vibrant, and all of us agree with rabbis and cantors and educators and synagogue administrators and Jewish professionals all over the world. This year was harder than last year to put together. Why? Because last year we knew we weren't together, so we had to figure out how to put together an online service and then ship it out to you. But now we're doing both, and you got used to having high-level streaming at you. And we had to rise up to it. So our team put together new, intricate, inspiring in-person and live stream services. And so I want to thank especially Harry Friedman and Karen Pofsky and Jared Paul and Peter Kraut and Randy Bellis and their teams. And I want to thank Aaron Meyer and our instrumentalists. Aaron does all those videos you saw up there, and that's only a bit of what we did last year that he worked on too, and new ones that were put together last minute when we decided to go forward in a certain way. Aaron did this magic with that and computer and lifted that stuff up to levels that you cannot believe, unless you listen to what they sounded like before, and then you will believe it. So thank you, Aaron. Thank you, John Fair and Fred Bearstein and Lindsay Deutsch and Stephen Stahl. Thank you. You lifted us up, and in a way that was so powerful. So my friends, if you have a kfel, send it along. Don't just text one line, I'll read it. But tell me about how great they were, or he was, or they were, or things, or what made it powerful, and I'll send it all on to these people. And of course, if you have a kfetch, we all do. Please hold on to it for at least 3 days. And after 3 days, if your kfetch is absolutely necessary, sandwich it between 2 kfels, and then send it along to Rabbi Vogel at templealiyah.org. I used him last year. He never got to me, so I think it's okay.
That's okay, Rabbi. He's having all of his fetches sent to you.
Yeah, call Rabbi Vogel on this one. No, I'm kidding. And the benediction and closing song, stay afterwards. Let's just look at the credits. So many people put in so much time. You'll know who to thank. I'm going off script for a second. I used to have iyunim, which are like teachings, or kavanot, which are spiritual, inspirational things before a prayer. Now I've got scripts. So I'm going off script, and I got these presidential teleprompters. I didn't even write any of it. No, I did. I wrote it. Well, Rabbi Julian. Anyways, so it's 1999, 98 or 99. And I get a call and say, we loved meeting you the first time, Rabbi Kipnis, and we'd like you to meet with our cantor Doug Kotler, so you can talk about what it would be like to work together. And so I get an email that says, let's go to Marmalade in Sherman Oaks. And we go and sit down in the table that's the only table in this small room. And we look at each other and smile. And I think he said, "So this is the first date, right?" I said, "I really hope there's a second date. And I'll pay for dinner." And we talked, and then we did a service up in, when you go up Parkway, Calabasas, the first right, there's a development right there, gated community. We went in, and in someone's backyard, and we were doing services, and we had planned it all out. And I thought we had a pretty tight order of service and understood each other. And on it, it said, Rabbi tells a story, and then the cantor sings this prayer. So I started telling the story. And halfway through it, this guy I didn't know except for one date starts playing guitar right underneath as I'm talking. I'm saying either this is a test to see if I can talk and listen to music at the same time, which was a big thing because I was not that coordinated really, or this guy has chutzpah. And so I continued telling my story, and it was a beautiful one about my daughter Rachel and about how I would hold her and I was providing her with comfort and support. And then the cantor was supposed to go right into Hashkivenu. And so as I stop going, I'm hearing the sound, and it has nothing to do with Hashkivenu. And he starts playing some other song. And I'm thinking, this is good. And he breaks out into the song, which was the perfect bridge from what I was intending to do, what I said, the song, and then into the prayer. And it was at that moment that I fell into liturgical love. And this man became, with Rabbi Julia once, we finally filled out our team with the three of us. We became partners in prayer. We became friends. We became brothers and sisters with all the good that is, all the kvetching that is, all the working it through that is, all the lifting up. It would have been great if for his last service, it was just like all the other ones. But then his last high holiday service, he'll be here with us through the rest of the year. Because this, unbelievably, is his final high holiday services with us. Well, Yisker to come and Ni'ilah, which will be online. But come on March 26th, because we will honor him with a celebration of Cantor Doug's music, career, and legacy. And when we do, we'll be in the Share Auditorium, because it will be a concert. It will be a wonderful thing. So my friend, our cantor, the one who has lifted us up through so many, for Orami, I think it's been 25 high holy day moments. We will celebrate him as he contemplates retirement. Okay, lose the slide. But for now, the cantor has this for us.
Thank you, Rabbi. So I'm not actually contemplating retirement, Rabbi. I am retiring.
Dude, I wrote the script.
I was contemplating it last year when the quarantine, the part in The Godfather where he says, "Just when I tried to get out, they pulled me back in." So I do have through the end of June to say farewell, and I'm really looking forward to the March 26th celebration. But this will be my last high holidays here. Life will be very different for sure, but it will be great because we're going to make it great. I prepared a final song. It's not an original song. It was written by one of my very, very first and most important Jewish inspiration. I've did not get permission to change the lyrics, but I hope he will forgive me, and you know the song, so you'll sing with me. They say everything can be replaced. They say every distance is not near. So I remember every face, of everyone who put me here. I see my light come shining from the west unto the east. Any day now, any day now, I shall be relieved. They say every person needs protection. They say that everyone must fall. Yet I swear I see my reflection in everyone inside this hall. I see my light come shining from the west unto the east. Any day now, any day now, I shall be released. Any day now, any day now, I shall be released. Serving as your cantor has been a great privilege, cherished, and I will cherish it. I've cherished it my whole life. Whatever simchas, whatever joyous times we've shared, I feel like they've been enhanced because we've shared them together. Whatever sadness, whatever difficult times we've had to go through, I feel like they've been diminished because we've shared them together. So this is a bittersweet occasion for me, with joy mixed with tears as I step down over the next several months till June, as I step down as your cantor. I will hold in my heart your faces and your voices and your wishes and your thoughts and your prayers, because I love you. At all important moments like this, we thank God who has provided us with life and health, brought us to this milestone in my life and in the life of the congregation. So let's sing Shechianu together. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Shehecheanu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh Thank you.
Wildly unimaginable blessings. Let us dream wildly unimaginable blessings. Blessings so unexpected, blessings so beyond our hopes for this world, blessings so unbelievable in this era that their very existence uplifts our vision of creation, our relationships to each other, and our yearnings of life itself.
Let us dream wildly unimaginable blessings, a complete healing of mind, body, and spirit, a complete healing for all, the end of suffering and strife, the end of plague and disease, when kindness flows from the river of love, when goodness flows from the river of grace, awakened in the spirit of all beings, when God's light radiating holiness is seen by everyone.
Let us pray with all our hearts for wildly unimaginable blessings, so that God will hear the call to open the gates of the garden, seeing that we haven't waited, that we've already begun to repair the world in testimony to our faith in life and our faith in the Holy One. Blessed be God's name.
If loved ones are with you, hold them close. If not, hold their love in your heart, as we are holding you in our hearts as we pray. Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom.
May God give strength unto our people. May God bless all people everywhere with the blessing of shalom, of peace. And we all say, Amen. Amen. Remember that family services begin at 2:30, and Ni'ilah, concluding service, and the final sounding of the shofar will be at 5:15, online only, either on the same links or more personal experience on Zoom. Those links will be up at orami.org/HHD. Our Yizkor Memorial Service begins in 5 minutes. If you are in person and not planning to stay for Yizkor, don't talk, please. Shh, we're still in service. Leave without talking. Don't talk until you're far into the foyer. And thank you for being with us. And remember the people we are thanking.